episode of Deck Hockey Focus, the only podcast dedicated to growing the game that we all love and bringing you guys some top-level talent from across North America.
That's true.
Shackelford, who's joining us today?
Today we're going to go out to Edmonton with Matt Liu. Matt, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can.
Awesome. Hey, thanks for joining us, man.
For having me.
Great. So, hey, before we dive into this whole thing, do you mind just taking a few seconds and telling us a little bit about your background, how you got in the game of ball hockey, and, how you got to where you are today?
What does it take to create the general manager of the number one team in North America? So where'd you get your start with ball hockey?
Oh, sounds good. I started playing ball hockey in Calgary, and I'm a goaltender, and me and a couple buddies decided to form a team called Savages. So played in Calgary from at the bottom level from '03 all the way to '07. I moved to Edmonton and then became a spare in Tier 1, and then eventually me and a bunch of guys formed our own Tier 1 team called the Savages again. I think that was in 2011, and then from there we just slowly got better and picked up players, and all the way up to now to where we are. When we started, when we won cities, it was a really big deal. I'm really happy, Tier 1 cities. Then we reached provincials, playing that, gaining the experience, winning that was a huge deal. Going off to nationals was awesome, just playing with some of the best players around. And then eventually winning a medal, the bronze medal, and then winning a national gold. So everything was just great, and we all loved every step it took to get where we were.
Well, it sounds like it all happened really, really fast for you there. But as far as you're concerned, how did you find the sport of ball hockey itself? I mean, even outside of the Savages, which maybe developed thereafter, but what was it that originally drew you to ball hockey as a sport?
Growing up in Edmonton, being born in Canada, I just love hockey. And I'm not a great skater, but love to play, so ball hockey fit in perfectly there. And then just doing something that you love watching, you know what I mean? Like just a sport that you love, and being able to participate in all kinds of different levels of athletes can play ball hockey. It's just similar to soccer, right? That's why soccer is universally loved. Like anyone can get out there and play, and ball hockey's the same. You get out there and play. It's just the only difference is you got a stick now, right? Mm-hmm. So with that, and you can play with a lot of different people, a lot of great people out there, and a lot of good friends, and that team camaraderie. We just had a good time playing ball hockey, and I still enjoyed playing.
So were you guys unreal right off the bat, or was there sort of a growth period there where you kind of had to get your wheels under you?
Well, when we started, we had a good core of guys, and we still have a lot of those guys together, and we were always decent. We were never at the bottom or anything like that. We'd be at least in the middle, and eventually we saw what it took to win, and saw what it took to get to the top, and beat some of the better teams that we faced, and eventually learned what it took to get better. And I think we acquired a lot of good players too, and that always helped out, and eventually we got where we were.
So speaking of the top, can we talk about that gold medal you won in the Czech Republic there?
Oh yeah, that was for Worlds, the B pool in Pardubice last year.
Which is your jersey on the back wall there, correct?
Yeah, that's the one I have there.
Nice.
A beauty. So that was in the Czech Republic, or give us a rundown of that tournament. I mean, a gold medal is nothing to turn your nose to.
No, it was a tough battle to get there as well, because I started in the Hong Kong Worlds in '09, and every 2 years we had the World Tournament, and we never medaled. So getting to 2017, getting to that gold medal game was already huge for us, because we knew, we get at least a silver, and that's the first one for Hong Kong, and that was a pretty cool thing. And that being said, we knew there wasn't any pressure, so that helped us out too, and we just played as hard as we could. And we didn't start off that tournament well. We started off with 3 straight losses, 2 shootout losses and a regulation loss, and then we knew we had to win every game from there on out, and we just kind of bear down and focused. And a lot of the things I learned from Tier 1 Savages kind of got passed on to the B pool Hong Kong team, and eventually we won that gold medal there. So that was awesome.
Nice. Congratulations. So with that, and there's a lot of lessons learned, like you just said, with going and winning a gold medal with the team that's never medaled. How did that translate into, or what did you bring from the creation of the Savages? What's the origin of that team?
The origin of Savages or Hong Kong?
Savages.
Oh, like how like some of the lessons we learned and how we got good. You mean?
Yeah.
But like, so we know that you started off there. You said you weren't the best skater in the world, and then the Savages kind of grew. When was it that you guys sort of made that turn from, this is a recreational fun sport because I really like hockey, to, hey, we've really got something going on here, and I think that we can be something special. And then eventually we come to find out you guys are now number one ranked on ballhockey.com. So, I mean, how do you transition between, hey, we should play ball hockey and we're the best team in the North Americas?
I think being in Tier 1's already pretty big in Edmonton, right? And it's kind of a big deal. And then getting to provincials and winning that first gold medal at provincials, I think from there on, that gives you, when we win the Tier 1 gold in provincials, that gives you a pass to the nationals, right? And then when you get to your first nationals, that's when you know, okay, this is it's better. It's not just being there is okay now. We have to win, So once we got there the first time and experienced it, then it's like, okay, the second time, it's like, forget the experience. We're here to win now, and we have to kind of focus and pay attention to everything that's going on. So just being in Div 1 Edmonton, we knew what was out there, like winning provincials and leading to nationals. But once you kind of win the first step, that's when you kind of get more and more hungry to win more.
Yeah, well, fantastic. So when it comes to growing a team and really putting the right players in the right spots as a general manager, what do you do to recruit? And I mean, how do you keep the team in order and get everything to flow and keep that chemistry going?
I think the key, one of the good things we have is we had a good core, like I said from the beginning. Like how I got on, like how we created the team was I was a backup goalie or sub on a Tier 1 Edmonton team, and a group of guys, a handful of them, approached me and said, "Hey, let's make our own team. Like, and we need a goaltender." I'm like, "Okay, so let's do that." And then we just it's a tight knit community, so we know this guy, we know that guy. We had to make sure we grabbed about 10 to 15 guys so we got our own Savages team. And then we did that, and then I think when we took the real big jump was one year we picked up a handful of guys for provincials, and they were called the Jets. And then the next year, the Jets said, "Hey, how about we just play with you guys for the remaining of for like regular season? Like, let's just kind of combine teams, right?" So once we did that, we got a lot stronger. I think that kind of took off into winning provincials and moving forward. And for recruiting and things like that, I don't know. We just have good leaders, and I think respected leaders. So
absolutely,
people look up to them, not look up to them, but like, when they tell him something, like our captain, his name is Joel Andreessen, when he talks to you, like, he knows that he's not saying a load of garbage or something. Like when he tells you, like, "Hey, we want you on our team, you're going to do this, you're going to do that," he's telling the truth, and it'll happen, you know what I mean? So with our leaders, that's a big part of it. And they're older guys too, right? They're not young guys that are like 18 or 20. They're like, mid-30s, and with that garners a lot of respect. And I think that a lot of people like to join our team because of them.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with that, and you're talking about provincials and then obviously winning, going to nationals, but are there any local tournaments or anything that's going on in Alberta that kind of prepares you for that? And what's kind of the prep and the schedule throughout the year?
Well, we used to play in the winter season, just to keep in shape. And we still do, but we don't play as the Savages. We all go in different teams. So that's always helpful. And then actually, one of the guys in Edmonton, he has his own mini tournament. It's a 1-day tournament. Happens twice a year, and it's 3-on-3. And I know from talking to Nelson Vargas Diaz yourself, 3-on-3 is a pretty good thing, and it hones your skills, right? So that being said, it's about a 100-player tournament. It's called OSHL. It's just for fun. It's not like sanctioned by the league or anything. But with that, it's an open tournament where anyone can sign up. So about 10 Savages sign up, and then 10 guys from a Div 12 team can sign up, and then everyone mixes together and we all play. But from that, we also meet a lot of different talents. So
yeah.
A guy in Div 1. We see because he's playing in this tournament, and he can potentially be recruited to our team as well as other teams, and just building camaraderie with the rest of the ball hockey community we felt that tournament actually helped us win our first nationals because we also had the support of our Edmonton players because they all know each other, right? It's like, hey, I played with this guy in this tournament, and now he's at NAC. Watch him streaming. I know him, not just cheering for them, but I like these guys. I want them to win, or maybe I don't like these guys, but the community that developed the community as well as developing the skills and developing relationships to recruit players. So I think that OSHL tournament was huge, as well as having a winter league to play in Edmonton, and that's a big thing. Like there's two leagues, and you can play in both of them, and just lots of. When I lived in Calgary, there was nothing in winter. There's like one league, and you get a little bit of games here and there. But in Edmonton, there's a lot of options, and that's a big thing.
Well, fantastic. So you mentioned, I know that you're ranked at the 5-on-5 level, but when it comes to 3-on-3 that you just mentioned, which I guess prepares you guys to reach that next level, do you guys bat back and forth a lot, or are you guys almost exclusively 5s?
Well, we only have that 3-on-3 because of that tournament, and there's no real leagues like that in Edmonton.
Mm-hmm.
I think one or two, but we do mostly 5-on-5 in Edmonton. But there is one of our 5-on-5s is a little bit smaller, and that's the main one we play. And then maybe that does help us because it's a little bit tighter quarters.
Like ring size smaller.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It's a center, so it's made for indoor soccer. So it is a little bit tighter, and that might help us out because we're used to the in tight battles and all that. So it's not 3-on-3, but when we do go play the bigger 5-on-5, I think that gives a little bit of advantage.
A little bit more comfort playing in close quarters, or tighter defense where you're more confident and comfortable with the ball in those types of situations.
Right, and then there's more one-on-one battles, and you have to be a little bit quicker on your decision making. And then when you go to nationals, a little bit bigger, you're not surprised by the time and space you get.
Definitely. Well, it sounds like you have a nice, tight-knit community there and a lot of growth happening with the game. So with that, what does the future hold for the Savages?
We're gonna keep going at it, and the good thing is like we have a couple of new young guys that are 20 years old joining our team, and then we still have the veterans, and then now we finally got some guys onto Team Canada, and I think that will give us a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge maybe from going to Worlds in Canada. We've never had I think we have maybe five guys. I think 7 or 8 were invited, and I think 5 eventually could go. So I think that's the first thing for the Savages that we never had before. So that's huge. We've had a couple guys go before, but not like a handful.
An entire line of getting national recognition. That's obviously huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but so what I want to know is, well, I want to actually dive into maybe what your schedule looks like coming up for 2019. But before we do that, as you guys are kind of preparing and you're looking towards the calendar, is there a specific tournament that jumps off the page? Is there a specific team maybe that jumps off the page where you guys know you got to maybe either bring that little bit extra, or it's a big rivalry or a huge tournament that you need to repeat, or that, put another feather in the cap?
What do you have circled on the calendar?
I think the one that we want to win back is our provincial tournament. So we won 3 in a row from I think 2014 to 16 or 13 to 15, and then we didn't win the last 3 provincials. So that kind of hurts, and the last 2 have been won by our rivals, the Edmonton Top Whale. So that tournament happens at the end of July. So we definitely want to get back that trophy because we feel we're probably the top team in Alberta, but we didn't win the trophy to prove that. So, when we see our buddies from Top Whale, they can give it to us and chirp us of not winning the provincial. So we want to win that back. So they can't say anything.
Well, fantastic. So you guys are kind of located centrally. I mean, we're kind of like that too here. Yeah. We're Midwest boys. Maybe if Canada has a Midwest, I don't know. But you guys are located maybe a little bit away from the East Coast, which I feel like is typically where people think the top tier teams all come
more
from.
The epicenter,
whether it be Montreal or it be the northeastern United States there. But looking out east, are there teams or tournaments that you guys have targeted that you're kind of representing your
region?
Yeah, your region, and what tournaments are you guys looking forward to kind of take down those East Coast rivals?
Well, the one tournament that we are planning to go to is out in Newfoundland, the Nationals. It's in August 5th to 10th out in St. John. So it's quite a far way away. I think 3.5 hour time difference. So and that'll be the first time we see all the teams out east this year. So that's a big one, and that's for the national championship. So we're looking forward to being prepared for that. I think there's other tournaments in the States, right? For that a lot of big teams go to and out east, but we don't have the financing or the guys to go out there to do that. We wish we can, and we would like to play against all the East teams, like Pittsburgh Gods and stuff like that, but just hasn't happened yet.
We have to make them come to you, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean we've got a nice 3-on-3 tournament here in the Quad Cities. If you feel like getting into that.
Yeah, maybe that'd be pretty cool.
So what's the farthest that you guys do travel for a tournament?
Well, St. John's is it's pretty far east in Canada. When we were on the first nationals is out in New Brunswick, so that was a far ways away.
No, fair. So is it fair to say that you play a lot within Alberta and regionally, and then go where the nationals are taking you?
Yeah, what we usually do is we play like a regular season in Edmonton. And, it's about 3 months. I think we play 24 games. That's when we play a lot of the all Tier 1 teams, and it's pretty good and it's very intense. And I think that gets us really well prepared for the tournaments. And then after that's done, we have our provincial tournament where we play against teams across the province. So Fort Mac, Calgary as well, and we see a lot of very strong teams there. And then do well there, and then eventually go to nationals. So that's how it usually breaks down. There's not that many tournaments like they do in the States.
Got a buddy with you. Who do we have with us now? Who's this?
She's 4.
Well, introduce yourself to the listeners. She can stay. That'll get us a lot more views.
She's an Oiler fan, so it's good.
Well, we know who her favorite goalie is. That's for sure. Gotta love these live interviews, guys.
Well, it looks like your guest Matt Lou's getting pulled away from us here. So I think with that we might want to wrap it up here.
Yeah. Well, before we let you go, I want to know a prediction. Are you guys going to lock down the number 1 spot for another year? And if so,
that's a great question.
What's it going to take to be the king of the mountain for 2019?
Well, I definitely hope we get the number 1 spot again. I think winning a 3rd championship in a row would be hopefully be enough. And Don, maybe we can travel to one of the state tournaments and do well there as well, right? So all those, the more you win, the better you get ranked. So we hope to do well there. Nationals is really fun. It's a good time. A lot of guys get out there and you see a lot of familiar faces. And this year is also a World's year, and a lot of the Canadians head out to Slovakia, and that's in June. So that'd be a good tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, we don't want to hold up any more time. Obviously, you've got a little bit of a distraction wanting your attention there. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Again, thank you, Matt, for coming on the show. We appreciate you coming on and everything you guys are doing out in Alberta, and the competition that you're bringing to the provincials, the guys you're taking to Team Canada out in June, which we'll definitely be covering there. But with that, we're going to wrap this episode up. Make sure you're following Deck Hockey Focus on Snapchat at DHF Podcast, Twitter at Deck Hockey Focus, and coming shortly.
Yeah.
Matt, you want to announce this bad boy?
Big news. To be determined on a launch date, but we're working on centralizing all ball hockey information on the internet. So we'll be launching deckhockeyfocus.com, which is going to be your new homepage starting soon. So stay tuned for further updates on that. We're still working out some of the kinks. Obviously, Sean is a genius, but he can only do so much given the time. But stay tuned as we continue to bring you guys coverage of big tournaments. We're going to keep bringing on the top level talent just like we have here today. So I think 2019 is going to be a great year for everybody, and stay tuned for some top level ball hockey.
Thank you, guys.